Thank you, sir. Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Lerner,
Here.
Ms. Dolan,
Here.
Mrs. Jeffrey,
Here.
Mayor Morgan,
Here.
Mr. Comiskey,
I am here.
Mrs. McKnight,
Here.
Mr. Gardner.
Here.
Let's salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's a public meeting of Borough Council, Borough of New Providence, County of Union, State of New Jersey. Adequate notice was given in accordance with PL 1975, Chapter 231. The annual notice or revision was made in conformance with Section 13 of the Act. I need approval of minutes for January 6th, adjourned meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No? So be it. January 6th, reorg meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No? So be it. We have appointments for Municipal Alliance, Nisha Koteka and Amy Lepre, the Board of Ed liaison. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
No? So be it. Then we have correspondence. County Commissioners, salary ordinance, Jersey Strong Coalition, legislature for nuclear power NJ, Robert Munoz, recall for civility and an ordinance request, Rachel Wood, council meeting video inquiry, and asking why the meeting, the meeting was taken off YouTube the day following. We do that all the time because Lamar edits a lot of the stuff that's there. And then it's put on the website. Board of Commissioners, the meeting schedule, Fire Department, Ethan Gallo, junior membership, Union County Pollution Control Financing Authority, public notice, New Jersey DEP, certificate of environmental stewardship awarded to Ralph Parlapiano, and we congratulate Ralph, he got a nice certificate. And Steve Corellis about the electric bikes legislation. And we just had a public safety meeting, and the chief explained to us with the new legislation that got passed in Trenton, that we're gonna let Mr. Robertson take a look at that and merge the two together, because it makes no sense to, let's get it right the first time. And apparently, we can overstep some of the things, and that's what I want you to do, because it has nothing to say about scooters. So you and Dan, I know, will work it all out. Okay, any comments? Seeing none, we'll go to Council Business Administration. Nadine.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2026-061 is a resolution authorizing contract between the Borough of New Providence and GovPilot LLC for a one-year term. So this is a cloud-based government management solution for licenses, tree permits, leaf permits, facility usage requests, OPRA requests, parking permits, and more. So if you need any form filled out through the borough, that's where you go.
And just to mention, Brian and I learned this at our meeting the other day, that the GovPilot is a separate vendor, right? And on our website, when you click through to get to the permit process, it'll kick you off to a third-party site, right? So there's some questions to how come you can't use this on your phone, and the reason is this is a whole separate system that's used by our borough to track permits and things of that nature.
Yep. Yeah, so when you go to get it, it actually tells you you are leaving the site,
Right.
particularly for dog licenses, which I was just filling out. It tells you that you are leaving, and then you go and you do it there, and then you go, and you come back.
You know, before we go any further, I forgot one thing. Today is International Holocaust Remembrance Day. And it's always good for us to remember what happened during World War II. It's a stain on humanity, is a horrible, horrible event. And it kind of reminds me of what this country's going through now, where we've lost civility, we've lost respect for each other, we don't talk enough together, we don't work enough together. And quite honestly, we have, as a country, I think we have to change our ways. And, you know, I'm a little bit of history, student of history, and it seems like every great civilization that was ever created on Earth, the downfall starts after 250 years of existence. And we certainly don't want that to happen to this country. So why don't we have a moment of silence for all those who have passed, and, you know, hope that we get smart, and our generation after us is a lot smarter than we are. Okay, let's have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Okay, we'll continue with council business.
Oh, it's still me.
Huh?
It's still me.
Oh,
number
oh,
two.
you didn't get that, okay.
No, that's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay, no worries. Resolution 2026-062 is a resolution authorizing contract between the Borough of New Providence and Civic Plus for a year. So this is the business, or this is the company that hosts and designed and hosts our website. That's it for me now.
Okay,
Now I'm done.
advisory boards, Alan.
All right, here goes. Resolution 2026-063. This is a resolution approving the request of the New Providence Sustainability Advisory Committee to sponsor community events during the calendar year of 2026. And this is just approving the calendar of events for 2026.
Okay, affordable housing, Nadine.
Resolution 2026-064 is a resolution of the Borough of New Providence authorizing execution of a mediation agreement resolving challenges to the borough's housing element and fair share plan. So for those of you who are keeping up on where we stand with affordable housing, we had presented a number and then we received challenges. So we received 5 challenges from various people who did not agree with our settlement and how we came back with it. And this resolution is just merely showing that we did settle on that mediation. We settled with Fair Share Housing, and we settled with the people up at Nokia. So basically, this resolution is just a settlement of that. From here, this doesn't end affordable housing at this point. The whole plan has to now go into what's called the program, which is where the state reviews it and they come back either with questions. Hopefully they approve it and we're done. But this kind of just allows us to move on to that next final step of finalizing on the agreement for the 4th round. More
Okay.
information is always on our website if you have any questions on that.
Okay, community activities, Matt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 065 is a resolution awarding contracts for multi-sports programs to U.S. Sports Institute, High Five Sports, RA, Sporting LLC, and FC Football Foundation. That's how you pronounce it, right?
Football.
This is just contracts for our recreation program for all their sporting activities upcoming. Go ahead.
Okay, you do engineering.
Engineering, 066 is a resolution authorizing the return of escrow in the amount of $5,135.18 to Dudley Associates LLC. This is a return of escrow on a project that was a parcel that was divided into 2 and a house was built over by McDonald's. The house came out fantastic. That is complete, and our engineer has signed off that the project is good standing, and this is a return of their escrow. Resolution 067 is a resolution accepting the proposal of Colliers Engineering and Design, Inc. for professional engineering services related to NJDOT 2025 and 2026 Union Avenue improvements. This is a proposal for Colliers to help design the improvements, which are from Springfield Avenue, on Union Avenue, from Springfield Avenue down to Mountain Avenue. So as you know, that's a very, very long stretch of road, sloped, runs through the train tracks as well. We have received 2 grants in 2025 and 2026, totaling $1.256 million in grant monies. The project includes milling, paving, some base repairs, ADA compliant curb replacements, grate replacements, minor drainage improvements, striping, etc. So the big project. They will be helping design it, and we have to, because we're getting NJDOT grants on that, and we did receive the first one in 2025, we're on the clock, so we need to award a contract on that within 24 months. So we're in process of that now.
Hey, Matt, just a clarification. I think the grant total is 700,000, but the project is.
Oh, thank you for clearing that. Right.
Yeah,
So
the project
sorry.
is more.
So
and
281,000 for 2026, and 419,000. I'm sorry, 2025 281, 419 in 2026 for a total of 700, which is matching. Total project should be $1.2 million. Thank you.
Okay. Finance, Lisa.
Thank you, Mayor. We have Resolution 2026-68. It's a resolution refunding or applying overpayment of taxes to certain property owners. There was a certain resident that had a duplicate tax payment, so that's all that was. Resolution 2026-69 is a resolution authorizing the contract between the Borough of New Providence and Edmunds GovTech for one-year term. Edmunds is the borough's financial accounting software, helps streamline the daily accounting and allows for automated requisitions and approvals. It's used for billing and collection of property taxes. Resolution 2026-70 is a resolution authorizing the payment of the attached bills payable list. The amount is $4,248,960.57. Some of the more significant items are the Board of Education January school tax levy for $2.7 million, the Garden State JIF annual assessment 1 of 2, $417,000. Depository trust is our interest bonds for 7/15/2025. That was about $304,000. The library got their appropriation for January, $119,000. Horizon Healthcare for the January health insurance, $142,000. Suburban Disposal for December solid waste, $49,000. The Mizell Group for the police department renovation, $46,000. Morton Salt, which isn't that like table salt too? Morton Salt, but evidently they sell rock salt for the roads, $45,000. Interstate Waste for December recycling was $33,000, and Union County Utilities is our December garbage disposal for $24,000.
All right. We have a resolution 071 approving Mappy Security Group for $11,000, and that's to upgrade the card swipe system down at the Corso Center. We have raffle applications for Summit Speech School, RA 1252, CSA 12, RA 1253, 1254, and 1255. They've been properly reviewed and prepared. Limousine applications, Rocky Limo, MP Car and Limo, and Summit Express, and they've also been properly prepared and reviewed. We also need authorization to request project management services from Union County Improvement Authority for the police department renovation project. By using the Union County Utilities Authority, we are able to save a lot of money. And it was funny, Dan, you went down to a conference and you talked to a police chief, I think in Cape May Courthouse, and they used the Improvement Authority down in Cape May, and he explained how much money they saved by doing it.
Yes, sir. In Cape May Police Department, it was just rebuilt, or it's beginning to be rebuilt now. Cape May County does not have an improvement authority, but the
Okay.
neighboring county does. They handle all of the arrangements, soup to nuts, for the organization, trying to also reduce the cost to the borough for change orders and of the like from engineering and the construction companies to try and get all that out of the way first. Luckily in Union County, we have our own improvement authority, which Burnett and I engaged about a month or so ago.
Yeah, and they've done a lot of projects throughout the county. It will save the borough a lot of money and a lot of headaches too. So you won't have to be on site every single minute. All right, Public Works, Alan.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2026-072. Resolution approving a contract between the Borough of New Providence and Nature's Choice, NJ LLC, doing business as S. Rotundi and Sons LLC for grass and garden waste disposal for the year 2026. S. Rotundi and Sons LLC proposes to provide vegetative waste transportation and recycling services. The proposal includes the transport of up to 5,400 cubic yards of grass, mixed vegetative waste, brush, tree parts, logs, stumps, and wood chips to an NJDEP-approved recycling facility located at 3 Watchung Avenue in Chatham for a lump sum cost of $99,900. The payment will be made in 5 equal installments of $19,980 billed throughout the year. If the total amount of vegetative waste does exceed 5,400 cubic yards, the borough will be charged $18.50 per cubic yard for all excess material. In addition, S. Rotundi and Sons LLC will load and haul approximately 6,500 cubic yards of leaves from the borough DPW yard to the Union County Conservation Center in Springfield, New Jersey at a rate of $6.95 per cubic yard. Resolution 2026-073. This is a resolution approving requisition R2600306 for access systems USA in an amount not to exceed $24,840 for replacement hatch systems in the wastewater treatment plant. Me and Brian are gonna head over there on Friday, but, so the pump building at the wastewater treatment plant consists of 4 levels that house critical pumping and control equipment. Each level has access hatches for hoisting pumps and equipment between floors. Since installing a bar screen system, these hatches are now open daily to remove debris from the basket, significantly increasing staff exposure to fall hazards. So currently, the 3 older access hatches lack adequate fall protection and rely primarily on safety chains when open. So this purchase will address these concerns.
I was going to steal a joke from former Councilman Pete DeSarno, and I would suggest that you guys visit the wastewater treatment plant at halftime of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I was told by Diane not to visit during the winter. So, but yeah, we got to get out there.
I think you two will be amazed at the operation. It is very complicated, and I'll tell you, they keep that place so clean.
So clean,
It's unbelievable.
so organized.
Yeah.
He does a great job.
Okay, seniors, Lisa.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2026-74, it's a resolution authorizing an agreement between the Borough of New Providence and Sage Elder Care for the year 2026. Sage Elder Care provided its 2025 annual report and social work services agreement proposal to continue providing support, information, education, clinical intervention to older adults in New Providence and their families facing elder care challenges. Some of the services include immediate support, clinical assessments, and interventions for urgent situations. The proposed 2026 budget reflects a 1.5% annual increase. I just want to say that, Sage Elder Care has been there a long time. It's a wonderful organization, and they do provide critical services to our seniors, and we're really lucky that we have them right next door in Summit, to help our seniors. I know my mom used to use the Meals on Wheels. Just fabulous people and a fabulous organization. We're lucky to have them.
Yeah, I think they just had upgraded that facility a couple of years ago, and when that happened, we all went over for a tour, and it's amazing what they have, and the engagement that they have with the seniors. On the bottom level, they have a wood shop where they will restore older furniture, and it's just such an amazing facility that our residents get to take advantage of. And like you said, Meals on Wheels, a couple of years ago, we did that too.
So many services, they have adult
They do.
daycare.
It is. And all the different rooms and programs and activities. It's a great thing. Happy to read that one.
Okay, before we go on, I've seen a couple of the neighboring communities, and there was a lot of discussion about ICE. So I've asked Chief Hen to come up and explain our role in this endeavor. I know we go by the Immigrant Trust Initiative that was put out by the state. I know that our police officers are probably the best trained, not in New Jersey, they're probably the best trained in the nation, but particularly in New Providence. I mean, we're one of two, I think, agencies that have been reaccredited 6 times, and we're on our way to the 7th. So I want to congratulate you and all that you've done in making us safe here. But I'd like you to explain to the audience what our involvement with ICE would be if they came here, and what our role is.
I appreciate Mayor and Council for letting me speak here for a few minutes, and certainly answer any questions that you may or may not have. So the Immigrant Trust Directive was issued in 2018 by the New Jersey Attorney General. The Attorney General of the state of New Jersey, by design, has the authority over all law enforcement within the state of New Jersey. And courts have ruled that the Attorney General's directives are the equivalent of law for law enforcement officers. So there's unlike many other states' Attorney Generals, our Attorney General has a lot of law enforcement power within the state. So our officers have been trained on this directive extensively and continue to train on the directive. It hasn't changed since its iteration in 2018 and outlines how the police departments in the state of New Jersey will interact with the immigrant community. Notably, for our purposes, it outlines that our officers are still conducting crime fighting tactics. Right, we still engage people who commit criminal offenses in the state of New Jersey. The Immigrant Trust Directive speaks directly to indictable crimes, which is generally referred to as like serious crimes, 4th degree or higher. But we don't take those enforcement actions based upon the status of an immigrant within here in the state of New Jersey. It outlines our interaction with federal law enforcement agencies, notably the Immigrant and Customs Enforcement Agency, for them, and limits our ability to interact with their official actions that they take under the color of their law enforcement powers. So we can act exigently in circumstances that require us to, and exigently is kind of narrowly defined as something that's happening imminently, right? So our officers do have the authority to interact with some type of action that could cause either harm to the person being afflicted or the officers who are engaged in that. That's part of our training for our officers to make those decisions, unlike the decision to pursue someone, the decision for somebody one of our officers to use force in any lawful type of scenario. So unrelated to an immigrant interaction. I'm using those examples just to outline the fact that our officers are making these decisions on a quick basis. The reality of our interaction with ICE is, at this point, we have not. Just to be clear, our officers have not had any known interactions within the Borough of New Providence, have not been requested to, and we do not expect to be requested to provide any assistance by ICE. Notably, we're in contact with the Board of Education, who questions, who tabletops their own exercises and wants to know what the police department's interactions would be. So we're communicating with that branch of government while also discussing with our borough administration about our interactions. I want it to be clear that, from a law enforcement standpoint, a person who is here from an undocumented standpoint we are not targeting, the police department in New Providence is not targeting their status here in the Borough of New Providence. We're concerned with those who break the law. We're not concerned with, and we use that liberally in the sense that, we're not considering somebody who's speeding down Livingston Avenue. We're concerned with people who are committing crimes with specifically those that are higher than 4th degree. Nothing has changed prior to 2018 to this date now from the issuance of this, and we're guided substantially by this directive to provide guidance to our officers. I know that these are individual concerns for many of the people who may live within our community, and I can only ask that they trust our department to do the right thing and treat them with the respect that they expect to be treated with. And that, our concern is not to do enforcement of immigration laws. We're not federal agents. We're local law enforcement. We're not here to enforce federal policies. We never have been. I've used the example in many conversations of prior to, all of this that has taken place. It's not uncommon for federal agencies to conduct business within the Borough of New Providence. There's been plenty of times that the FBI has conducted investigations, made arrests that don't involve the Borough of New Providence. They're federal actions, federal laws have been broken, and it's upon that law enforcement agency to act appropriately. It's not any different from our interaction, whether being requested or not, to treat that in the same manner. So as I said, it's a personal affliction that I think many of these people have to think about every day when they wake up, and we understand that. But I also want to have the persons who are listening to me speak here understand that, our officers are out there doing the job of serious law enforcement, not to enforce federal legislation. So, I don't know if I would have covered everything, but I certainly want to, if you have questions or however you want to dictate that.
I just want to thank you for that, by the way.
I just want to make it crystal clear to everybody here that we are not looking to arrest people on immigration charges. It's not what we do here. We're here to make this the best community we can, and we're not looking to enforce federal law. And I know a lot of people have a problem making a difference with that, but I know each and every one of your officers are well-trained and know exactly where the lines are.
And to be clear too, immigration status is not relevant to how we conduct business. So in the course of a normal car stop, which our officers conduct every day, doing traffic enforcement, it is not the intention of the officers to go out there and stop somebody and inquire as to their immigration status. Right. It's irrelevant to how we conduct the business of the police department. In using that example, our job is to do traffic enforcement. That's it. So we will conduct ourselves to do that and then free ourselves up once we're done. That's exactly what we'll do.
Thank you. And I want to thank you for coming tonight because, I know your daughter had a basketball game tonight.
They won.
Good. Perfect. But I thought it was important that you come and you can explain that hell of a lot better than I ever could. And I thought it was important for the public to hear. And at this time, what I'll do is open it up to the public to ask Chief Henn any question pertaining to this subject and this subject only.
Yeah, and I just want to be clear that, a part of this discussion here that we're trying to accomplish is to dispel, the things that people see on, social media, on cable news, because, when we look at how this enforcement is done within the state of New Jersey, it's very difficult to apply those standards here that you may see in the Midwest or in the South or in the Far West. We conduct business from a law enforcement standpoint in the state of New Jersey much differently than they do in other parts of the country.
And to that end, I was curious. Last February, yourself and Mayor Morgan and Dr. Zerpeli issued a memo to the community, kind of outlining where we stood at the time. So, is that something that we could refresh? Kind of bring back an update for this year in the current circumstance to give the community some solace.
I certainly think that the document that was published nearly a year ago is still very germane to where we are today. Nothing has changed from the perspective of how we conduct business, how the borough conducts business, or how the Board of Education will conduct business. So absolutely, I think it's probably best to resurrect that.
Yeah, just change the date.
Actually, I don't think we put a date on it, but
Well, I think it's escalated on the other side. That, from your standpoint, it hasn't changed, but the tactics of, federal agents seem to be intimidating and, doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And it's causing residents to be really fearful of, leaving their house. And so, I really appreciate you, taking the time to sit down with me and Brian, and we brought some of these issues up. And there were a lot of hypotheticals about, what do we do in a situation where, somebody shows up maybe at a school and, they have military assault weapons, and they start asking people, like, where are you from? And if 911 is called, what's the procedure? And, you said it's a timing issue. It's, if something happens in the moment and the officers get there and there's chaos going around, you're at a de-escalation point. You're not there to assist federal agents in any capacity. But at the same time, if they're using tactics that are illegal, I hope that the police department will hold them accountable as well.
yeah, so I just want to make sure we clarify that statement of tactics that are illegal, because the tactics that are used. Yeah, I just want to understand that the tactics that local law enforcement are trained on may differ from those that are used by federal agents. It is, as I mentioned in our meeting, and I say certainly here when we talk about exigency, it is incumbent upon our officers to protect life, to take appropriate action when the time calls for it to take appropriate action. Use of force in the state of New Jersey is a very serious thing. De-escalation is part of that use of force continuum that we train on twice a year annually. So it's an important tactic that is built into our officers from when they graduate the police academy to when they retire at the end of their career. So certainly, what I said, and I've said this in other conversations, is that, I can't speculate as to how we would deal with the scenario,
it's case by
right?
case.
Because we can dream up many different situations. But what I can say is probably with some certainty is that the likelihood is we may not ever know that an incident may have taken place or is taking place, or we'll find out after the fact. Logistically, I just think that there's probably less action being taken here by ICE. I think that their type of scenarios are done on a much smaller basis here. And with that being said, they don't ask for our help. So it's more likely that the public would be witnessing some type of interaction that would call us and ask us to look into something that seemed to be suspicious happening.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just add, I think I like Brian's idea of just reviewing the memo from last year if there's nothing that needs to change. Still, republishing it and kind of bringing it to the top of people's feeds and putting it out through the school district communications as well as the borough. But I think that a little bit to what Alan was saying, that I think it's very clear what the police department's scope of responsibility is in these situations as a local law enforcement. And where I'm kind of seeing the concern is from the residents' perspective, because, you could be concerned for your own safety, even if you're a legal resident. You may be, Hispanic or somebody who looks like someone who might be targeted. You may be uncomfortable leaving your home, or you may see somebody get detained by an ICE officer, or you may know that there's people that aren't leaving their home, and how can I help them? Get them groceries or whatever it might be. And I think that there is an opportunity here for us to think about maybe an additional layer of communication to residents about what we know about what resources are available, we're not directing them any one way or the other, we're just giving them access to what are their rights, and where they, if they see something that they think is suspicious, yes, call 911 and, get it checked out. Don't be afraid to do that, even if you're not, a naturalized citizen. So there's another layer that could potentially, and of course the school district, I don't know, they might want to contribute additional information to that too. But I was kind of hoping that we could really make it sort of an all-purpose, kind of here's how we, how we view this situation, and try to allay people's fears a little bit as it potentially could come into New Providence. So that's kind of where I was going with that, with my comment.
I think we have to be very careful of what we put out there legally. And I think what the chief said covered it all. What we are responsible for, we can't dictate to the state or to the federal government how they do their operations.
I don't think that was the point. Sorry, Mayor, it's not the point to dictate to them how they do their operations. I'm talking about from a resident's perspective.
Well, the residents have a great number of opportunities. I mean, if they want groceries, they can go online and order groceries.
I mean, it's mostly just about providing, publicly available information, about rights and resources and stuff like that. Not taking a position on anything, not taking a stand on anything, but just here are resources that are.
We can put something on the website if they want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know, what rights or whatever you're looking to put on there. And we have to run it by Mr. Robertson, but
Sure.
we could do that.
Yeah.
I just don't want to get jammed up.
No.
No.
Okay?
Understood.
Okay,
Thank you.
we could do that. Julie, you had a question?
Yeah, actually,
Do you want to come to
You have to
the-
come up and give your name and address.
it was honestly answered, but I have just a point that I'd like to make. First, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming here and taking the time. I just want to add to your point, Mayor, that there are people living in town that are in the immigration process legally. And I think we've all seen examples where people are confronted, I'll use that word, in an inappropriate manner. And they have rights, and maybe they don't know what those rights are. So I don't think anybody's asking for legal advice to be printed, but rather, these are your rights constitutionally, whatever that looks like. I think that's fair and neutral. No one's asking you to take a stand in that regard, but it's just
Right,
providing
exactly.
information. I think that's what you're asking for. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yeah, Brian.
Brian Haas, 49 Bradford Street. I don't know if this is something you'd be able to answer.
I can try.
But maybe. What is this situation for, like, the schools or a church? Or, I mean, do you know if federal agents can go into those locations?
I don't. I can tell you, as much as everybody would like to believe,
Yeah.
Board of Education is quasi-private property. So they have strict controls over the ingress and egress of their property. I've said to Dr. Zerpeli that, you know, if an immigration officer shows up inside your school, you got a bigger problem because somebody let them in as opposed to, you know, somebody sneaking in. So, anybody can approach public areas and seek to engage with somebody on public property.
Okay.
You know, the difficult issue related to, let's say, religious institutions is that they are generally open to the public and inviting the public there most hours of the day. So if your question is simply related to whether enforcement action can take place there based upon the government's legal right to conduct that action, I can't answer that for you, specifically for a federal agent.
I have a sort of follow-up or continuing question.
Question or
well,
answer?
No, it's more of a question. Do we know what the Board of Ed, their protocol is if an immigration enforcement agent does show up at the school and requests access?
I think that should be addressed by the Board of Education.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else?
Alan Swanson, 47 Overhill Road. First thing, I don't know any residents who don't have absolute confidence that the New Providence Police Department is going to be involved in any of the things that are happening in terms of ICE. I haven't heard anything like that. I haven't, so let's get that passed. I think that we need to really look at what Kathleen says, Councilwoman Kathleen. It's really important to allay the fears of people. They're not afraid of the New Providence Police Department. They're afraid of what they're seeing on television. And when you bring up the children, they're watching children being shipped off in vehicles and sent to other states and things, and they're people that are afraid. So the document that you put out, that you said all we do is change the date, it's not really sufficient. And Alan referred to the fact that it's not just that there are changes in the immigration policies. It's what's happening. It's what they're doing on the street level. So, I don't have a lot of questions. I just came up because I don't want to wait till the end, and there might not be an opportunity to say anything like this. So, but I think it's important to revisit that the document that you put out last year in February, I think it was, and to reassure the people and to do that education piece that's important for everybody out there. There are people in this town who are afraid. And to say that they can order groceries to be delivered to home is certainly not the answer.
I didn't mean it like that.
Okay,
There
well,
are opportunities out there. I wish I had all the answers, because I don't, because I'm not a federal agent. I don't know what the federal laws are. All I know is what we can control here with Dan and our officers. We go by the Attorney General of the state, and that's all we can do. We don't have really any contact with the federal government and how they conduct themselves. And I think Dan, they don't even tell us they're coming if they come. Am I correct?
No, they won't.
No.
So
That's what you need to tell the
But
people.
I think,
But
Mr.
what am
Swanson,
I gonna do? Say that, I'm trying to think of a good way to put this, is, because I really feel sorry for people out there. They're hardworking people, they want what's best for their families. I know a lot of people that do, I'm in the contracting industry. I deal with a lot of contractors, I deal with a lot of people. I feel for people that work hard and want to make a better life for themselves in this country. But on a local level, we're very constricted in what we can do here. And I think Dan eloquently, presented what we can do. And I wish I had the answers that you want to hear, but I don't.
No, I don't want to hear answers about what you can do to stop the feds coming in. What I'm saying is that you need the system for getting the information out to people that can allay some of their fears.
But I would love to hear what you would put in a letter besides what we put in that letter that wouldn't, that's why we have a lawyer here, so he could go through things. It's great to say I want to belay fears, but I have to protect the borough. If you have some recommendations or something, give them to Bernadette, and we can go over them, and we'll let Billy look at it and see where we can go. But, I wish I had answers. I wish I did.
if I can add something too, Mr. Mayor. So I had recently had a conversation with a chief in neighboring community who was discussing some type of public statement that their community wanted to make. And we got into some discussion about the Immigrant Trust Directive. And as I just mentioned to Councilwoman Dolan, I said, my only advice to them was, just be careful of rewording words that have been vetted, right? So using this Immigrant Trust Directive, there's a lot of information, not just from a law enforcement standpoint on that Attorney General website, but also, good information that the public can read and digest and understand. And I said to them, just understand the words that were written there and be careful of trying to reword them to fit a different narrative that is in place 8 years later, because at its substance, how it was written is still very relevant. And it is really a very good guiding principle with how government should be interacting with the public and helping them understand what they should be accessing.
In fact, maybe we could put the directive, put that out.
We certainly can share that link on our site in order for them to read all the information. Yes.
I mean, I think, sorry.
No, go ahead.
As Councilwoman Dolan said, I think it's almost two different layers. There's the law enforcement piece of this, and the Immigrant Trust Directive. That's kind of the be-all and end-all of that. But then there's also we are a community who helps each other, right? We have the LINK program, which is fantastic. We have the Mental Health Advisory Committee group, which is fantastic. This is just another way where we can help and support each other and create a sense of safety without getting into any legal or positional things, without any commentary. It's just about creating a sense of safety here in New Providence. And, we're not going to wordsmith it out now, but there's probably some language that we can put together that speaks to that without tripping over any problems.
Yeah, fine.
That's what we're going to try to do.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely.
If you have some suggestions, please, give them to Bernadette, and we can, and have Bill Vick do it.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say one thing, that the schools and the churches, there had been a prohibition for immigration officers to enter those facilities to do things, but Trump eliminated it when he came in, so that that's why they went into a daycare center and dragged out somebody. They can go into the schools, and that was a private property.
Okay.
So I wouldn't just say, oh no, they can't do that.
We didn't say that.
Yeah.
Yes, we certainly didn't say that.
I know, I'm not saying you did, I'm making sort of a generalized comment that, when, if saying you don't know about it, no, they can go where they choose to go, and obviously they can, they don't care about the federal laws that are out there in the Constitution as far as that goes, but that's my comment, so. Listen, I appreciate,
Thank you, man.
I appreciate that you're doing this and having the
Well, I want
opportunity
to be
to discuss.
proactive on this because I know it's been a big rigmarole in a lot of our surrounding communities. And I thought it better that we get out in front of this and air this out and be civil about it. Because I've seen some of the other towns, and it got pretty unruly. And that's what we want to do. We'd rather solve a problem together and talk about it than go down that tough path.
Get that out to the people and assure them that that's your point of view. That's what I'm saying, is get it out there to the people.
Well, I
so that
think
they know
we have.
just what you're saying, you know?
We all
Thank
took
you.
an oath to abide by the Constitution, and that's what we all have to do. So we have to be careful what we put out there too. So thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
There are 3 Allens here. I think we could all do it together.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but I spell it the right way.
I'm not,
Well,
so
now we're
do
gonna
you,
get into a
Alan.
real argument.
not touching
You and
that.
I spell it the right way.
Your name.
All right, so I'm the odd man out here.
It's all right, you don't have to use that extra L.
I think we have another comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob?
Bob Conley, 415 Elkwood. First of all, Chief, you've already got the trust and respect of the neighborhood and the town.
Thank you very much.
As long as we can keep that flowing, we're in good shape. With regards to the documents you're talking about, I think that came about in response to a question I had about a year ago. And Mr. Mayor, I know it took a little bit of guts for you and the chief and the superintendent of schools to get together and put that out. Because some people looked a little askance at it, but I think it went a long way. And I think it's very important to refresh it now. If a word needs to be tweaked or whatever, a date changed, do that. But for purpose of expediency, I would recommend just reviewing it, give it a quickly review, reissuing the same thing with a new date. The idea about publishing a list of resources somewhere for people to use, generally there's private resources or county resources, that's fine too, but don't let that hold up the issuance of this reminder to people.
No, we'll get right on it.
Yeah.
And if people have comments, just let Bernadette have them, and, go through them, and Billy will look at it, and we can get it out there.
Thanks for taking another look
Yeah.
at it. And thank you, Chief.
We
And thank you,
always try and do the right thing. We may not agree with everything, but we try and do the right thing, so,
Thank you.
thank you, Bob.
I just wanted to point out, as they were speaking, there's a section of our website that does have links and resources related to, area things. It probably maybe needs a little bit of refreshing.
Okay.
But certainly, we do provide that to the community, use our website as a resource for that.
Terrific, thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Anyone else? Seeing no one, and clear that part, close. Chief, I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know
Thank
you
you,
missed
Chief.
your daughter's basketball game. Thank God it's a win.
It's a win, and hopefully there'll be many more.
They are very, very talented.
Don't be afraid to
girls.
come out and watch the New Providence girls. A shameless plug for them, high school basketball team. They are, I think, 15-1.
Wow.
Yeah, they're incredible.
They lost
You
the
don't want to say
game?
anything, Matt, do you?
What?
No,
No, okay. Yes, and we'll be having the county tournament coming up shortly. So we're looking to go deep into the county and deep into the state.
Nice.
Okay, great.
Let's do it.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Who'd they lose to?
Appreciate it.
Dan, who'd they lose to?
Old Japan last week. It was a tough game. They had 2 6-footers. They
Ooh,
were a good team.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you, everybody.
thank you.
So
Chief.
much.
Okay, committee reports, public safety. We all know about the snowstorm we just had. From what I hear, we may get another one this weekend. I guess we're in that zone, But I can report that there was few service calls that we had to make. The police said the residents were very good about keeping the cars off the street, not going out. That makes a big difference. They don't have to, there were a couple fender benders out there, but nothing major. The fire department and the rescue squad were fully staffed. You had a couple calls, right? But they weren't snow shovel related. They were just medical calls. Fire department, they did a fantastic job. They were fully staffed. You know, the fire department and rescue squad are all volunteers, so, you know, you gotta give them kudos. They're always there. And of course, we have our unsung heroes, which is DPW. These guys worked, how many hours?
24 straight.
24 straight. And, you know, it's a tough job. I've been out there on the plows. It's not fun. You're over there bouncing around all the time. And you get tired. You literally just get tired. And there, we 3 trucks broke down. We're waiting for parts. One you said was a transmission, so that may take a little bit longer, but, you know, we got through it like we always do. And, you know, I just want to thank them because I know what it's like.
How many miles of road?
Yeah, people don't realize that we plow 42 miles of road in the Borough of New Providence. That's a lot of road.
And a couple of different times on this one.
Several times.
I saw at least 3 or 4 passes.
You know, I've been on those snowstorms and it snows a couple inches an hour. You can go around like Crane Circle, go around Crane Circle, go down, do Pearl, Hawthorne, you come back, it's filled up again. So it's wild.
Yeah.
It really is wild. And we had one section that wasn't done too well by Robert's School, but Bernadette and Ralph got on that right away, and hopefully it's all cleaned up now. So, you know, we do the best we can with what we have. So, it was actually one of the contractors. So, but, you know what, it happens. So,
Yeah, pickup was a little bit messy.
the what?
Pickup was a little messy.
Yeah, it was, and you know what, like I said, nothing's ever perfect, but, you know, they do the best they can.
It's like, where can you put all the snow? There was just too much of it.
Yeah, well, you know, there's nowhere to put it. DP doesn't like you putting it in the river. Years ago, we used to fill up trucks and dump it in the river. They don't like that anymore. So, but besides that, besides saying thank you, we're pretty much right on schedule. I know we're getting another salt delivery the end of the week, and we'll be good with salt too. So everybody's scrambling. Okay, Alan, committee report.
I really have nothing to report. You know, we met with the Board of Health, had our first meeting. We have our sustainability meeting tomorrow. Me and the councilwoman will be sitting down talking about affordable housing, probably many, many times. Me and Matt met up with Allison for the activities committee and had a briefing about that, but nothing really much to report.
Great, operations are normal.
Feel like-
That's my favorite report.
Short and sweet.
That's the way to do it.
Kathleen,
Thank you, Mayor. For the Diversity Committee, we had our first meeting on January 21st. Another will be scheduled soon to complete the process of electing a chair and establishing goals for 2026. Councilman Comiskey and I will be supporting those efforts. The New Providence Municipal Alliance, this is the committee that focuses on supporting education and awareness for parents and students related to substance use and abuse. We met on January 7th, and we're in the process of gathering survey input from New Providence residents. I don't know if you've seen that on social media, but it is available. I think it's also on the website. They're looking to get input from the residents to help inform priorities for programming in the upcoming fiscal year. and Councilwoman McKnight and I will be supporting those efforts. Councilperson Lerner and I, as well as borough leaders, are in discussions with the directors of the NP Community Pool to plan for the upcoming pool season, and more will be shared about that at the February 10th council meeting. And then the New Providence Historical Society met on January 15th, and Councilperson Gardner and I were there. We got a thorough overview of the Historical Society's current plans and goals. And if you haven't yet signed up for the Colonial Libations event, it's happening this Friday at the Saltbox Museum from 7 to 9. Please go. I went to the one in November, and it was a lot of fun. So it's definitely worth it to check out the museum, but also taste the libations, and then hang out with your fellow residents. That's it from me. Except I did want to just mention one quick thing, again, kind of bouncing off of your civility request. I'm not sure that our last meeting, January 6th, went the way that anybody really wanted it to. It really should have been a routine kind of adjournment meeting, and then, you know, moving into the peaceful transition of power for the reorg meeting, and it kind of went off the rails a little bit. And I don't think this is really not about, I don't think it's politics that are dividing us. I think sometimes we just do things and say things and act and without thinking. And I think if sometimes we just stop and ask ourselves, what are we trying to achieve by whatever point we're trying to make, you know, we can really get through these kind of difficult situations without bringing politics into it. And that's really a goal of mine, and always has been, is to just speak to people about the borough business, and keeping that top of mind. So just wanted to throw that in there.
Okay, Nadine.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. So being that it's January, all the committees are having various planning meetings, discussion meetings, getting to know their new liaisons, and getting everybody up and running for the year. As Councilman Lerner pointed out, we did have a Board of Health meeting, so anticipate some good things from them this year regarding a chicken ordinance, which is coming, and then also a sanitary standards ordinance, which is coming. So they are primed up to get rolling for this year as well. We had a personnel committee meeting. We will be reviewing the employee handbook this year. So hopefully we can go through that bring that up to speed from whenever that was done the last time. Mental health, I had a meeting with Councilman Gardner, and really just a planning meeting, but I'm sure you'll discuss that as well. And so everybody's just gearing up for a great year.
Great. Matt?
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. So we're just kind of getting our feet wet with some of the new committees and new committee members and learning some things. So like Councilman Lerner said, we met with the community activities, and I just want to reiterate, you know, our community activities department is head and shoulders above any department in Union County, most likely in the state of New Jersey. I absolutely one of their biggest fans. They just do incredible work. Allison did a really nice job of you know, bringing Alan up to speed on what they do, and there's a lot to learn because they do a lot.
A lot.
They don't just do recreation stuff. Every event that happens throughout the borough, right? Today we approved the sustainability committee's you know, calendar of events, and that's more of like a guideline on some of the things that we've talked about leading into the end of the year. I think there's a couple other things that the Sustainability Committee might be working on as well that will be introduced. But again, the Recreation Department is very instrumental in it's really community activities. It was renamed, I guess, community activities years ago because that's what they do. They do everything in this community that relates to any activities, whether it's recreation or community events. So I'm actually looking forward to working with Alan on that and working with Allison and seeing what we can do to help make it even better. Communications, Brian give his update on that as well. But another just great meeting of learning what the communications committee is about and our handbooks and all that good stuff. So, you know, we always talk about our communications is our handbook is like a living document, right? And we're going to look at it, and we got new fresh eyes, and we'll look at it, and we'll see where we can improve it, right, if necessary, and add or subtract if necessary as well. So that was a good first meeting there. Engineering and construction, just want to reiterate the project that we just talked about today. Union Avenue, that's the big project right now that's open. There's a couple of projects on the horizon. We're talking about the police department, the DPW building. I think we have some delays in relation to what the building is going to be and the company and things of that nature. So that might slip into next year. But again, those are big ticket items that we'll be working on this year. Labor negotiations, we have the labor negotiations with our police this year, which is always fun.
And Teamsters.
And Teamsters, right. Before I get to planning board, just like we talked a little bit about sustainability, I just wanted to mention on the diversity committee, our first meeting was really refreshing, to be honest. There were only 5 of the 10 committee members on the call, but of those 5, 4 were brand new people, right? And brand new meaning first time just volunteering on a committee. So they had a lot of energy, right? And a lot of discussion for our first meeting. So, you know, it's great to see. We always talk about how this community really thrives on its volunteers. So this is a perfect example of we got fresh, new volunteers, and I can guarantee you there'll be some good stuff coming out of that committee as well. And then just wanted to end on the planning board. The planning board, we finalized Toll Brothers, right? So we've been talking about Toll Brothers for like 6 months, right? 6, 7 months. We've had multiple meetings on it. The Toll Brothers development was approved. So that development will be moving forward. Next steps there will be the resolution will be drafted, and there are a lot of things that we discussed over the 6 or 7 months that are going to be required to do in terms of that development. So that's going to be a bit that a resolution that once it's passed will then go to our Department of Construction for them to work on the plans and get that ball rolling. If you want to see the plans and where we landed, they're on the website, so you can go to our website and you can see those. And you know, I want to thank the mayor, who honestly was very direct, to be honest, right? I mean, and he made a lot of really great points about the Borough of New Providence and what we expect and what we want as part in terms of development in the borough. So it took a little bit of, you know, pushing and shoving, I don't know the right term, but they ultimately got to a point where the development was going to happen, right? I mean, the bottom line, it was going to happen. It's part of our third round overlay, and we were able to get a good result, the best result, I think, for the Borough of New Providence. And that didn't come from just the mayor screaming and yelling, right? It was part of it. It also came from the public, and there were a couple hundred people in that room day one, packed. It's the most I've ever seen for any meeting, and it spoke volumes. And it dwindled towards the end, but I think it dwindled towards the end because people started seeing that they were actually making changes, and we got to a place where people were really happy. Even the people that were across the street that were really against it, I think ultimately realized that that was the best result we could have possibly got. So I want to thank the public for showing up, right, and literally being heard, because that spoke volumes to me. That board, they put a lot of time and effort and many hours and long hours at night, and Brian was a resident, right, showed up to all those meetings as well. It's an effort. And so I just want to thank the board and the attorneys and everyone involved. It was the single hardest application that I've seen in 12 years. So I hope we don't have any more, but unfortunately we will, with, you know, the affordable overlay and, you know, meeting our mandate. But again, everybody did a great job, and I just wanted to say thank you for that.
I just want to add on. I got a chance to see a lot of the process, you know, sitting in the audience as a private citizen, and really kudos to the entire planning board. I mean, from where it started to where it ended, it really is the best possible solution given the constraints. You know, it was a great example of compromise and a great example of just the community and the board really, you know, holding them to account. So just really fantastic job to the whole planning board. Thank you. You're here.
Thank you. I mean, I think it's noteworthy that they eliminated 23 units, they lowered it a whole story, and they changed the whole design.
Yeah.
And they didn't negate any of their affordable housing obligation. And they're all integrated, so you don't even know where they are. That was a big, important plus.
Well, even little things like the look and feel of the place.
Yeah.
You know, I know, Mayor, you were really keen on that one, and again, the before and after on that was really stark. So
You know, I remember the first meeting, me and Brian are sitting there and we're having like side conversations, and I'm like, this is what it should be, this is what it should be, this is what it should look like. And, you know, months and months later, like, finally, like, basically everything we had talked about made those concessions.
Well, I'll tell you, I think Matt's right. It made a big difference that the public was here.
Absolutely.
And, you know, the numbers spoke volumes
Yeah.
there, so it's great. Lisa?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say, Kathleen, I agree with you 100%. We've been saying all along to keep politics out of things, and so, you know, going forward, I look forward to working with everyone as a team. I know that we will put politics aside, and we will put New Providence first. That has always been our goal. So it's our goal.
And that doesn't mean that we can't agree to disagree.
Yeah, sure. Of course.
Because that happens with any group.
I disagree with that.
As long as we're civil and we respect each other, and we can disagree left and right, but, you know, when it comes to local stuff like this, there's not too much to argue about. It's
Well,
pretty cut and
can I
dry.
just say something? Look, at the end of the day, we're neighbors.
Yeah.
It's not like we're sort of like fighting with someone that lives, fighting is like maybe not the right word, arguing or disagreeing with people that live, you know, hundreds of miles away. We're neighbors, and we should act neighborly. All the stuff that happened during the election, look, I'm a big boy. I know people like to talk, like to call names, and it doesn't affect me. What affects me is not willing to work together to make this borough the best it could possibly be. And, you know, I had a long conversation with Matt after our first meeting that, look, there may have been some, like, you know, issues in the past, but I'm willing to put all of that stuff behind us because the business of the borough is what it's about. And, you know, Matt reiterated, you know, actions speak louder than words, and I'm willing to put that action ahead. So I know most of you on the council haven't got to know me and haven't given a chance to get to know me, and I'm hoping that you do. I'm a great guy. I'm a little biased because it's me, but I want this to be a positive environment where we can get stuff done. And that's not to say we're not going to disagree, but the civility aspect, we should be able to talk amongst ourselves, agree to disagree, and put the borough ahead of it all. So I'm all in.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
So everyone had nice little preliminary meetings, but America 250 really hit the ground running. So Nadine and I met with America 250 on January 12th. Maria DeLuca was elected chair. Thank God, because
How
she's...
surprising that is.
Thank God. And I don't know if my report will be anything like Diane's was, but we will try. So what we're really basically looking to do, and I'm going to just kind of repeat everything that Diane has already said, really looking to spread the 250 logo this year. We're working on that. I know the police have the logo in their windows, which is great. Fire and EMS are working on it.
And on the cars?
And on the cars, yes, on the car windows. We're really looking to see if we can project it somewhere. So we just had a lot of thoughts and ideas, so more on that later. I know that Diane talked about the lantern project. We have the 13 lanterns hanging at the Saltbox Museum, which is beautiful, and the goal is to have them spread around town. So we want it to be an organic movement so that people, go and order them, hang them on your property, and even after this year, that we just kind of continue it. It's just charming and it's beautiful and it just speaks to New Providence like so much, these charming little lanterns. But we really are going to push that. So we are working on a flyer. Once we get that approved, we're going to push that out, and hopefully everyone will get on board
Are
with
they
that.
solar?
They're
They are
solar. I
solar.
just ordered mine on Amazon.
It's
They're
gonna
really
be tough hanging them in trees.
well. You got to hang them down a little bit lower so that they don't get the canopy of the leaves. But it's possible.
So again.
you got to hang them a little
but
bit lower.
Not necessarily in the trees. So where I have mine is I just have a post that I
Yeah,
put
the
plants
flower
on.
posts.
A flower
Mhm.
post.
That works
And I
too.
just have them hanging on the flower post. So they get the direct sun. And they look beautiful lit up at night. They flicker like they're really nice.
So,
Highly
Do we have to
recommend.
use Amazon? Is there anybody
No,
else
you
that
can, anywhere you
sells
see
them?
them.
We can't actually promote any
No,
particular
but anywhere you
business.
see them.
No, I got mine on Amazon. You can get yours wherever you like.
Mm-hmm.
What else? So I passed out to you, to all of council, just a calendar of events. We'll be getting this out to everybody
Yeah,
soon.
we'll get it to them
It
all.
just, has events every single month of what we're going to be doing to celebrate America 250. We are working in collaboration with the Historical Society, the library, and the schools, which are really hosting a lot of these events. What we are going to be doing as a borough is on Saturday, April 18th, is Reverend Caudwell Day. There's a lot of history about him, working on a display at the library that really explains his connection to New Providence and why we really picked Reverend Caudwell for this particular endeavor. But it's going to be a day of donation, and throughout that entire day, we're going to have a list of places where you can donate, things you can do, blood drives, donating at Link, donating at the Historical Society, but that will come, so that's on April 18th. And then another exciting thing is the old-timey baseball. If this is anything that you might be interested in, please let us know, because we are looking for volunteers.
I would.
So we need players, we're gonna be getting these old-timey fun uniforms, and then we'll have them play maybe against a new-timey baseball team. I don't know.
I wonder if
But-
the New Providence High School team would play.
Well, we have the Reds, so the Red, maybe we can kind of mix the teams up a little bit, so
Oh,
it's
yeah,
not like,
that'll be a close game.
we're gonna mix the teams,
We'll see.
not all the Reds on one side. So that was America 250.
I have a very important question. Will the Hamilton movie watch be a sing-along?
Good question.
Yeah, absolutely. You can sing if you want. All by
You want to
yourself.
scare everybody?
No, we want people to actually come.
Yeah. On the 14th, Nadine, myself, Al Morgan, we met with the New Providence Biz and DID. Now, that was a high-level strategic meeting, just kind of going over some of the goals and objectives for this coming year, and just reiterating that the businesses are totally vested and totally support our community. So please keep in mind that they sponsor so many things. Please, shop local when and if possible. Library Board met on January 20th. The Friends of the Library gave an update on their planned activities for the year. As usual, they have a ton of activities, revolving around art and fundraisers. One of the interesting things that I picked up is on May 16th, there's going to be a vinyl record sale. Ooh, very exciting.
My son just bought about 50 vinyl records.
Yeah, well, I just overpaid at a local business that was going out of business, but Vinyl record sale on May 16th.
They're coming back.
Yes,
They're
they
gonna
are
be
coming back.
May 16th?
But our turntable's coming back.
I
Big
believe
tracks.
my sister gave my son my father's turntable, and then he just went off.
Nice.
But it is actually, it's refreshing listening to the vinyl records, to be honest.
It is.
Yeah, but you're not playing it on 78.
Right. I remember 78.
So the Friends also presented a check to the library for $14,400. That's how much we appreciate them. That check is used to pay for all the programming, and they use it to pay for all the museum passes. So thank you to the Friends for that. Just an aside too, the library had set aside about $25,000 to buy new tables, chairs, to refresh the furniture. But we received a very generous donation from a business of gorgeous stuff. It saved us $25,000. So all of the chairs and meeting tables now in the Conti room have been donated. They look brand new. They're absolutely
Beautiful.
stunning.
Nice.
And a lot of the seating chairs out in the reading area also donated. Beautiful. So again, lots of programming. Please check the website. A lot going on at the library. The senior committee, Nadine and I met with Allison and Michelle on January 20th. We reviewed, basically what Michelle does for the seniors at the DeCorso, which is a lot. They have a calendar that comes out every month. There's multiple activities a day, programs, opportunities, virtual programs, language classes, arts, crafts, knitting, exercise, you name it. Michelle does a wonderful job there at the DeCorso Center with our seniors. I also learned that Allison and Michelle are responsible for our AARP certification. So just in case nobody knew, New Providence is AARP certified. There is a 3-year master plan that gets renewed every 3 years, and Allison and Michelle are in charge of that. We also will be scheduling quarterly catch-up meetings with our seniors. We have to decide when. I think, at the DeCorso, we thought about Fridays because it kind of coincides with their bingo. We might get a lot bigger crowd if we get them there for something else. So we'll be spreading that out among the council people here. So between DeCorso and Lantern Hill, we'll see what we can do with getting in front of our seniors to inform them of what we have been working on, what's going on in New Providence, what they need to know, and open it up to questions from them.
And Barabash Manor as well.
And Barabash Manor, yes. And lastly, Finance Committee, we had a very preliminary meeting, just reviewed the preliminary schedule, and we are tentatively scheduled for March 24th to present the budget. So stay tuned, Alan and Brian and I have a lot of work ahead of us.
Yep, looking forward to it.
The next couple of months. It's labor intensive, the budget.
Yeah, it's good work to do.
Fun stuff. So.
Okay, Brian.
Alrighty, on communications, as Matt said, we had a good meeting, starting to look at some of the data and statistics for the site and the services that we offer. You're looking at, what are the most effective ways of communicating stuff out to the public, and mostly just looking to start setting our goals for the year, and as Matt said, looking at the handbook and just kind of getting a course charted. No meeting for legal and regulatory yet. Mental health, great first meeting. One of my big takeaways was that we have more potential events and needs than we have people right now. So if anyone in the sound of my voice is interested in volunteering, we'd love to have you come on in and help out. There's a lot of great stuff planned over the year. We're just trying to figure out how to make it all happen. But there's a lot of good work happening there. Community Forest and Cable TV, we're still waiting for the go sign for those. And then last but not least, the highlight of my report is we have a rock star in our audience, because from the Board of Education I can report that Bernadette received a recognition for her fantastic service to the Board of Education. So.
I was looking real quick. I was like, is there a rock star?
Bernadette's the rock star. You know that.
Bernadette's always.
Thank
Okay,
you for all you do.
Bernadette, it's all you. rock star.
That's a good
Thank
intro.
you, Mr. Mayor. I would just like to reiterate what the mayor said about thanking our DPW, Office of Emergency Management, Police Department, EMS, Fire, for their work during the storm. Their level of professionalism is off the charts. And I do ask that our residents be a little patient as our DPW crews continue to clean up. Where the snow may have stopped, they are still out there working, they're still cleaning sidewalks, they're still on the intersections, they're still trying to, make some roads a little bit more wide. So if you can just give them a little grace, that would be great. Due to the ongoing snow removal at the DPW yard and the work that they're doing, they are not going to be open on February 7th for recycling, so the recycling yard will be closed. And then just two plugs for February 4th. The police department is hosting their annual town hall meeting here in council chambers starting at 7 o'clock. And on February 5th, we will be hosting an information session for residents that live on and around Maple Street between Central and Mountain regarding the upcoming safety and roadway improvements along Maple Street, which will include the realignment of the intersections at the Fellsway and Maple and Mountain Avenue and Maple Street. These improvements are intended to enhance safety and traffic operations for motorists and pedestrians. Letters are going out to residents tomorrow, and the meeting will be held here in council chambers beginning at 7. That's all I have.
Okay. I'm glad you reminded me about we made a commitment, I guess, 3 years ago, and having the traffic studies and all that done with the police department every February, so that'll be good. Also, I want to congratulate John Signorello, who's our new emergency management coordinator. He's also the fire chief. He did an outstanding job. And, we kind of forget all that goes into that. The biggest part of that job is having to report everything, so. Okay, at this time, we have a public comment. Anybody wishing to address council? Yes, sir.
Rich Cuomo, 126 Bradford Street. So first of all, I just want to echo the thoughts and sentiments around DPW. I drove in Jersey City today for work. We do a great job here.
Well,
very clear streets.
I'm actually glad you're here, because Kate sent a bunch of questions, and it was, we'll get you the answers.
Yep.
What I want to know, are you available on Thursday, so I can meet with you guys and go over everything with you?
We will talk. I don't know about Thursday, but we definitely need to find some time to connect without a
Yeah,
doubt.
because Thursday I'm free, so.
All right, let me talk to Kate. We'll see what we can do.
Okay.
So just, given that, so on behalf of the RISE New Providence Stormwater Resident Task Force, I would like to share with the full council a set of questions that the mayor just alluded to that we submitted to the Stormwater Committee via email prior to this meeting. We respectfully request responses within a reasonable time frame. So already, thank you for that. We will continue. If we can talk about anything tonight, even better, but we're, not expecting it. So first and foremost, I think we just want to understand, given the changes, if committee membership has changed and what that membership may look like.
Kathleen, you're on the.
Kathleen?
She's on it.
Great.
Hi.
Looking forward to working with you.
Same.
The remainder of the questions really revolve around three themes: mapping, maintenance, and communication. So I know we talked about, interested to hear the communication, because that's definitely a key piece to the message we're trying to get out around stormwater and the flood remediation. So in terms of mapping, is stormwater mapping actively underway right now?
We're talking to Congress about it, where we are, so.
Okay. All right. I don't actually expect a response, because I know some of these we will wait for the formal written, but I did want to, just for the benefit of the council, just read them. What mapping methodology is being used or planned? Is there an established timeline for completing the mapping? Right, everything's frozen now, so it's not as big a deal until it melts, and then it overflows and overloads our stormwater drains and other runoff, so it will quickly become a problem. On the maintenance side, does the borough currently have a documented preventative or predictive maintenance program for the existing stormwater system. And this is really important too, because it's not just about when a storm
I
happens, right?
understand.
It's
You
making sure
have
the
to-
pipes are clean beforehand.
Really, to go through all this now is, I'm not gonna take everybody's time, but
Yep.
I've explained this over and over, that all these things are gonna be long-term. You know, mapping, all this maintenance, we take care of the hot spots first, which we pretty much have this past year. We've spent how much? It's close to $1 million already with remediation. So, you know, there's only so much money that could go in the pot. And for us to continue, we gotta go through the capital budget and get a new budget for the year. So, right now, you know, to give you a timeline, I can't do that right now.
And again, I'm not looking
Right.
for it on the
Well,
spot, but I
you're
think
asking for mapping and this and that. A lot
it's a
of this stuff is gonna
plan,
be
right, with all due
over the
respect.
course of 20 years, so.
You know, with all due respect, I think that there are some more immediate problems that we can solve, right? Well, we have a camera in the town, right? The town owns a
We've
camera?
counted a lot. It's $7,000 a day that we have to do.
So
but-
those are the things we need to talk about, right? How do we, and in terms of that maintenance and proactive understanding of
Well,
what's
that's
happening in the
why
pipe.
we hire Colliers and have
Agreed.
Corman.
So you have a lot of answers, it seems like. What we want then to flip to the last theme is around the communication, right? And the transparency of that communication. So we really understand, not just as the council, you know, as the committee and task force, but also as a residents, because it's, you know, we're representing some hot spots, about 7 or so around town. But there are a lot of other spots that we're not aware of, right? We've had some residents stand up and actually identify themselves and work with us. But we know that across the board, it's a big issue, right? It doesn't take
Yeah,
much to drive through the
We've
town.
had
So-
action lines, and I think we've pretty much took care of almost all the action lines that came in.
So the action line requests that came in were just to identify areas in the borough that residents felt we were having issues that may not have been on the borough's website, on
Right.
the borough's radar. Obviously, our emergency personnel have a different view of what happens during a storm because they are actually out there in the trenches and they know where the manhole covers are popping and where, you know, where we're putting up barricades so that cars don't go through floodwaters. So that all plays into
Yeah.
what's happening.
Agree, and 100% agree, and we obviously appreciate that. I think, again, what we're asking here is what we're looking for is that collaboration, right? Because your best weapon against all this are the residents who see it on a day-in-and-day out basis, and they're the ones frankly being impacted the most, right? When, you know, I came up personally too, my basement's flooded a couple of times, fortunately, and extraordinarily appreciative, as Kate is as well, of the work that was done on our street. And we view that as a template for how we take this activity forward, right? It started with just the camera and the pipe, and we found out that pipe didn't exist anymore. I think we can apply that very simple thing. We're not asking for millions and millions of dollars to be spent, though if it turns into that, then we start talking about that. We have that conversation too. So just, I think the collaboration, patience, and working together is really what we're looking for, and that goes into the communication discussion as well. So like I said, you know, we do appreciate the collaboration. We appreciate, and thank you for the offer. We will figure out if we can meet Thursday. Looking forward to continue the collaboration, working together, because I think this is a really big issue for the town. Because let's face it, we don't want to be underwater, and when we see what happens, we've all driven through it, and our houses have been impacted. So, thank you all.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Alan?
I can.
Alan Swanson, 47 Overhill Road. You know, I've come here for many years, and we haven't always agreed. So I just want to let you know that I'm also a really great guy. Okay.
Must be an Alan thing.
Stole my
I
line.
couldn't resist.
Yeah, but you spell it right.
I do. I too want to say, it was great that the Toll Brothers, who came in here at the initial meeting and going, some of that coming across as, wow, we're the Toll Brothers. I mean, what? We're the Toll Brothers. And of course, the outcome was very positive for us, and they discovered that, you know, well, okay, we're going to have to make some changes here because these people know what they're talking about. So that's good. I have A quick question about the procedures and the correspondence aspect of the meetings. I'm curious as to when you have something from the residents, is there something additional that happens other than you've announced at the meeting here that I received a letter from this person or that person? I mean, is there an outcome for the people when they send in
Well,
things?
usually it's just a matter of fact, correspondence.
So I would say that yes, correspondences are responded to depending on what the correspondence is and whether it deserves or requires a response. But yes, there are actions for all correspondence from the residents. The ones that show up on, and Bernadette can talk to this, when they put the agenda together, any correspondence that comes to mayor and council goes on the agenda.
Right.
And that's the requirement.
We get a lot of correspondence to
Private
us
copies.
individually. It might be a specific question, which we then will contact that resident and answer their question.
Right.
If it's a statement, then it's just a statement that gets posted on the agenda. If it's to
So
mayor
I'll give
and council.
you an example of today. There was a correspondence about the video being pulled or wasn't available. And the response back to that resident was, yes, it's available. It was actually pulled down. The 30 minutes that you looked for it wasn't there because it was being edited. So it was responded to. Does that make sense?
Oh, sure, no, I'm just,
So Alan, to answer your question, anything that's addressed to mayor and council goes on the agenda. Many times, the items that are on the agenda have already been dealt with, but they have come into mayor and council, so they become public. So many of these residents have already received answers to their correspondence. There are some that council may have to take action on that remain open until after we discuss it.
is the response to when someone puts out something that ends up on the agenda, something that should be also available to the public?
Not necessarily.
95% of it is just, like stuff from the county or DEP.
No, I'm not talking about the county or, I mean, I don't want to go into it.
Like the one, like the one with from Mr. Corellis with the e-bikes. I made a few comments about what we're doing with the e-bikes and the new legislation. So, I mean,
I think what you're saying, Alan, maybe is that you see, because you're looking through the agenda, you're clicking on the link, you see the correspondence because it's available publicly on the agenda, but you don't see the answer to the question.
Don't see the public
You don't see it.
response. I mean,
Right, but
what's the point in putting it on the agenda if the response
required
to it is not also public?
Well, a lot of residents sometimes want something to be put on the agenda so everybody knows that they've asked a question. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just say, hey, you know what, I don't want to be on the agenda, I just want to know why this happened. Sometimes they want it to be on the agenda. So
Well, that
if they
doesn't
address
answer
it
my
to mayor
question.
and
If-
council, it goes on the agenda.
If it's on the agenda and there is a response that has been made by the council, why wouldn't that be something that should be in the public realm as well? If they've asked us a question and you've
It's
given a
operable.
response,
If you want it,
shouldn't
you can
the
get
public
it.
know the response?
It's operable.
I'm sorry?
I said it's operable. If you want it, you can go get it. It's public record.
I think
The
that-
response is for public record.
Yeah.
I've sent many letters in over the years that I've not received any responses on. So I couldn't look up any public record on some of the suggestions that I put in. I'm not trying to, I don't
Were they
want to be
questions or
argumentative. I'm just
suggestions?
trying to clarify that you are saying if it's on the agenda and you give a response, you've given them a response that it doesn't have to be open to the public. I mean, how would I know? I have to do an Oprah request if I want to know.
Or you
I mean, I
could just call the borough and say, hey, I saw this correspondence. Could you tell me what the answer was? They'd be happy to give it to you.
Okay. Just one other quick little thing that I want to say, that given some of the things that have been said about the demonstrations that I coordinated in the town, There seems to be this notion that somehow if there's a demonstration or a protest, that it has something to do with New Providence necessarily. It doesn't any more than, the No Kings demonstrations that were here weren't about anything that was wrong with New Providence or anything. New Providence became a venue for that. Just as the people in all over the country are demonstrating because of what's going on in Minnesota or whatever, and they're not necessarily demonstrating against the leadership of Minnesota or the police in Minnesota. They just want to take advantage of their First Amendment right to assemble, to redress the concerns that they have that are taking place at the national level. I bring this up because there will be more demonstrations in New Providence. Not when it's almost below zero, but we're not quite as involved as they are in Minnesota, so I'm not organizing anything in the near future. But there is a desire on the part of people to get out and express their concerns at what's going on nationally, and this is a good place. I mean, people came in and things were handled very well here, and the thought that this is a separate thing, but the thought that somehow someone like me needs to pay for the services that are provided here doesn't really jive with our Constitution. So just those kinds of comments are kind of useless, I guess, is what I'm saying. Anyway, so I appreciate
Hey, thank you for your
Thank you.
comments.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yes, Linda.
Linda Gleason, 118 Woodbine Circle. I want to thank council for dialing back the vitriol. You really all seem to be making an effort to get along and get on with the business that council is supposed to do. So I appreciate everybody's making an effort to do that. It is obvious that you are doing that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Linda.
Anyone else? Seeing no one, I declare the public hearing closed. I need a motion for items 1 through 17, please.
So moved?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Lerner,
Aye.
Ms. Dolan,
Aye.
Mrs. Jeffrey,
Yes.
Mr. Kaminsky,
Yes.
Mrs. McKnight,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner.
Aye.
Okay,